Did you know that only 6% of nerd couples met through dating apps? If you're a shy, introverted nerd looking for a player too, you've probably tried dating apps and you've heard of following your hobbies. But which one actually works? Is there any real data? The answer is yes. Hi, I'm Alex and I'm a dating coach who helps shy, introverted nerds find their player too organically. So, first things first. Are dating apps any good for meeting your potential partner? Depending on the survey, the city, and the country, you might find that 5 to 10% of long-term couples met through dating apps. And that's just talking about the regular population. I've interviewed over 100 nerds about how they met their partner, and the result that I'm getting is around 6%. So it's pretty much on par with the regular population. So if you're thinking, why am I not finding anyone? It's because you have less than 1 in 10 chance of finding your partner through dating apps, whether you're a nerd or not. Now, dating apps are great in one sense because you basically already know that you're there to date. There's no confusion about are we friends? Are we more than friends? Where is this gonna go? It's very clear. You both want to date and you're seeing if you would be a good potential partner. But because there's already this expectation, you already feel like you have to perform. Because if you get rejected, means that that person doesn't think that you're a good potential partner. And then you start thinking is it me? What's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? Maybe you're just not compatible. And speaking of compatibility, even though on dating apps you do see the bio and you kind of have an idea of, okay, they seem to like these things or those things. Truth is, even if you do like similar things, you maybe don't share the same codes. You maybe don't share the same way of communicating. You maybe kind of share similar interests, but, oh yeah, I like watching TV. I like watching The Bachelor. And you're like, no, I like watching anime. Sure, you both like watching TV, but that's a different thing. So what ends up happening is that you feel like you have to perform for the other person, trying to adapt to whatever it is that they want. And in the end, even if you find someone, you would not be finding someone who's a good fit for you if you do that. And everything starts way before you even connect. You swipe right and you're like, we didn't match. So I already feel rejected, even though that person maybe didn't match because they didn't come across your profile. Maybe that day they weren't in a good mood. Maybe they saw something about your photo that they didn't like. Maybe they were just swiping left on so many people that at some point your profile showed up, they were just swiping left and they were like, oh my God, no. But you will never find out. And then if you match, you're like, okay, what do I text first? And then you text them and then they don't respond. It's just so annoying. Even if they respond, how often do you get ghosted? How often do they just stop responding? And you have no idea why. Then you go to the first date and you find out that, well, things didn't really work out so much. Maybe you like them, they didn't like you back. Maybe they like you, you didn't like them back. But it all depends on that 1 or 2 dates. So let's look at one other alternative, making friends. How many couples started just being friends? Is there any data? Yes. There was a meta study a couple years ago that showed that around 68% of couples in general started as friends. It's not 10%, it's not 20%, it's around 68%. And the nerd couples that I interviewed, also 68%. In fact, when I found the number, I was like, this has to be a joke because it matches exactly what the research showed. And by the way, if you want all the data and all the results, plus a guide on what to do about this, check out the link in the description because I can send you all the data of my survey compared to research, as well as a step-by-step guide with a worksheet to help you find your player too. So why would becoming friends work better than dating apps? After all, isn't it like a confusing thing? We're friends, but maybe there's more. And what do we do? And panic. According to the meta study, the couples who started as friends usually took around 22 months on average to start dating. That's almost 2 years. And the survey that I did was around 1 year of friendship. I'm not saying you have to wait 2 years. All I'm saying is those people had enough time to get to know each other, to really see if they were compatible, if their communication styles were similar, if they liked the same things. When they had disagreements, when someone was going through pressure, when someone was stressed, how do they handle it? And all those experiences also help you strengthen your bonds. But the benefits of going from friends to lovers is not just the time that you spend with friends to get to know each other. There's also the fact that you don't have the pressure to perform, because basically nobody has to prove anything to anyone. You either become friends or not. Most people are not too worried about making new friends. Unless you're in my program and you're like, I want to make friends so that I can make more friends so that I can eventually meet someone. But that's a different story. That's different. If you're looking to make friends, you don't have such a big risk of, this is the person that I'm hoping to marry someday. This is just a potential friend, and friendships come and go, and most people are fine with that. So you wouldn't be feeling that pressure of saying the right thing or the wrong thing, or why did they respond this way, or should I have said something different? That can still happen, but that's not as common. And that is why making friends allows you to just relax, be more yourself. And someone who's relaxed and happy in their own skin is also much more attractive. And so when it comes to finding your player 2 through friendships, already with how long you spend as friends and with how relaxed you are showing your true self, both things help you bond much deeper in an authentic way. So that when you actually start dating, you already know what you're getting yourself into. You already know who the other person is. You already know that you like them and that they like you for who you are. And if you want to hear a very detailed example of this whole process, check out the episode with Jose called Physical Escalation, where she talks about how she met her now husband. He was her brother's friend. Her brother and him were going to martial arts together. She was doing martial arts in a separate place. They started hanging out together. They spent a whole year as friends, just getting to know each other. Each of them with their own dating life, with their own whatever, but they were spending so much time and they were texting so much that at some point they both said, I think there's something more. And if you want to hear every detail about how that happened, check out the episode with Jose called Physical Escalation. So to sum up, if you want to avoid the friend zone at all costs, you're throwing away what works for 70% of couples. And in the same way, if you get frustrated after maybe a couple of weeks or a month of being friends with people and not finding your partner, remember that most people take around 22 months. And in my survey, which this may change as I interview more people, but so far it's around 1 year. So keep your hopes up and don't worry if you're still looking for your player 2. And remember that making friends works for 70% of couples. And if you're wondering where to find communities, how to make friends, where to find a group that's not all one gender or a specific age, or if you're struggling with the fear of, okay, I meet someone, what happens now? How do I navigate this without making it awkward, without seeming creepy, without ruining the whole group dynamic? Check out the guide in the description because I cover absolutely everything right there. And if you still have some questions, please let me know in the comments because I want to make content that works for you guys and your needs.